In this video, we are going to be learning about the order of operations. Okay, so many of you probably have heard the phrase, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," when it comes to order of operations. I do love this phrase. However, it does produce some misunderstanding around the order of operations, and I'm going to address that here. So the please represents parentheses, the excuse represents exponents, my dear represents multiplication or division. And so a lot of times students think that the multiplication has to come, you do the multiplication first, and that's not the case when it comes to the order of operations. You do whichever comes first, either multiplication or division, so you go from left to right. And the same rules also apply with the Aunt Sally part, which is addition and subtraction. And so you're going to do whichever comes first, either addition or subtraction, so you move from left to right. Okay, let's look at example 1. We have three operations happening here. We have multiplication, which is represented by the dot, is subtraction, and we have division. And so following the rules of the order of operations, the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, multiplication would come first here. So we do 2 times 5, which simplifies down to be 10. So then we'll have 10 minus 30 divided by 3. Then we got to figure out what's going to come next. Is it going to be the subtraction or is it going to be the division? And it will be the division piece. And so we do 30 divided by 3, simplify that down, that gives us 10. Now we're in our final last step, last operation of subtraction. So we just do 10 minus 10 to get our answer of 0. So let's look at example 2. We have three operations happening here. Again, we have subtraction, then we have division, and then we have multiplication. And so here we're actually going to do the division first because it comes before the multiplication. And so once again, remember that is a misunderstanding that I addressed earlier in the video. And so we are going to do the division first. And so to simplify, we do 6 divided by 2, which gives us 3. So then we're going to have 2 minus 3 times 3. Then we got to figure out what's going to come next. Is it going to be the subtraction or is it going to be the multiplication? And it will be the multiplication. So then we do 3 times 3, which gives us 9. So we're in our final step here, which is subtraction. We're going to do 2 minus 9, which will give us a negative 7 as our final answer. All right, let's look at example 3. We have a lot more going on, a lot more operations. Here we have parentheses, we do have an exponent, and so it's going to look a little bit different. And so what we want to do, since we do have parentheses, we must address what's inside of the parentheses first, and then we do follow the order of operations like normal. And so inside the parentheses, we have subtraction, we have addition, and we have division. So we must do the division first. And so we're going to divide 21 divided by 7, which gives us a 3. So I simplified everything down, and now I'm left with 9 minus 5 plus 3 inside of the parentheses. I'm not done with the parentheses piece yet. I have to finish out the parentheses. And so following the order of operations, I will do the subtraction before the addition because it's first. And so I'm going to do 9 minus 5, which gives me 4. Now I'm left with one last operation inside of the parentheses. And now I have 4 plus 3. And that's what I'm going to do next. And so simplifying that, I'm going to get 7. Now I'm left with two operations. I have an exponent and I have multiplication. Well, exponent has to come before the multiplication. And so you're going to do 7 squared. And so that is going to give us 49. And now we're left with our final operation of multiplication. And we're going to do 4 times 49, which gives us a final answer of 196. Let's look at example 4. Here I have a bar which actually represents division. And so we have two operations happening here. We have addition and we have division. I know normally we would do division first. However, when you have situations like this and you have operations going on top, you have operations going on the bottom, you want to do those separately. So you want to take care of everything on top of the fraction, follow the order of operations, and you want to take care of everything on the bottom of the fraction and follow order of operations. But here I only have -2 on the bottom, so there's nothing to do. And so I just need to take care of the top piece first. And so I'm going to do 40 plus -2, which is the same as 40 minus 2, which is 38. And now I'm just left with a division problem of 38 divided by -2, and that's going to give me a -19. I do want to address something here though. If you ever divide by a 0, you can't do that. The answer is going to be undefined. So just take note that if 0 was in the bottom of the fraction, if you're ever dividing by 0, the answer is going to be undefined. You can't get that in your calculator, you'll get an error, and that's how you know that the answer is going to be undefined. Let's look at example 5, our last example. So here we have a following equation that's been simplified incorrectly. We're trying to find where is the mistake, where did the mistake happen? And so we have 2 minus 32 divided by 4 times 2. And so simplified down, that step became 2 minus 32 divided by 8. So what this student did is they did the multiplication first. They did the 4 times 2 piece first. That's actually incorrect. They should have done the division first, and then they went through and then followed the order of operations correctly from there. They did do 32 divided by 8, which gives you 4, and then 2 minus 4 is negative 2. So the rest of the problem was solved correctly with the order of operations. So in step 2, we do want to simplify the original expression using the correct order of operations. So we should have done the division piece first, because when it comes to multiplication and division, you do whichever comes first. You go from left to right. So the division is first. So 32 divided by 4 gives us 8. So we have 2 minus 8 times 2. Next, you got to figure out what's going to come next. It will be the multiplication. And so 8 times 2 is 16. And then we're going to do our final step of subtraction. 2 minus 16 gives us negative 14. Final answer.